You'll notice a diesel electric submarine will have a certain odor about it even after many years, because diesel fuel has a distinct odor. Watch your head coming down here.
Okay, I'll be small enough now, so I don't need to worry about that.
Okay. Hi. I'm not going to get too technical here. We just got young kids, but I want to give them an overall idea. This is the forward torpedo room. There are 6 torpedo tubes in a vertical bank. There's 3 on this side and 3 on this side. See, there's one down below this deck plate.
Yeah.
And when we'd go to sea, we would normally have a torpedo in each tube, and then we'd have spares out on these racks. And this right here was Grandpa's bed.
Oh, jeez.
But what's that?
You were close to your job.
This is a torpedo. Now, when they were out on patrol, as they used torpedoes up, sinking ships, they could put bunks in these racks, and they'd turn into bunks. But you see, you don't have a whole lot of room, and with this thing in the way, I mean, you're pretty much staring at the ceiling. But that's about the worst bunk in this room, and since I was the lowest guy on the totem pole as a seaman, that's where I slept. And we basically slept in our clothes, and we slept on top of these covers. We rarely zipped them open to lay on the sheets, because when we were at sea, we didn't take any showers unless we were a mess cook or a cook, because water was used mainly for all the batteries in the submarine. It took a lot of water and for food and coffee. Other than that, they didn't have very much, and if they had to make water with a still, it got real hot inside the engine rooms and the rest of the submarine, so they try to avoid having to use the stills. But these big torpedoes, I don't know, this might be a Mark 14. We had Mark 14s and Mark 37s when I was on it. The 37s were electric drive. These are steam-driven turbines. They burn alcohol. We called it Pink Lady. It was ethyl alcohol, about 198 proof. To keep the guys from drinking it, instead of shooting torpedoes with it, they'd put in a substance that turned it pink and made it so you couldn't drink it without getting sick. Do you have any questions? This gentleman here, he knows all about this room. If you got a question, he can answer it for you. No questions? No bashful?
Up there.
You got to be young and flexible. Swing up, get your feet down.
Swing up. Reenact it.
But I tell you, you were usually pretty damn tired when you finally got a chance to go to your bunk, and any bunk was safe haven, right?
Yeah, mine was in the aft battery. Just before you step into the head back there, there's a bunk up on the top up here. That's where I was. That was my bunk. I was a lowly seaman torpedoman, and it was so small that if I wanted to turn over, I had to get out and get back in the way I wanted to lay in there, because there just wasn't enough room to roll over.
Yeah.
Not much different than this.
Yeah. Now back of this room, there is a head, isn't there? There was.
Where do you go up here? What is this?
Oh, this is that hatch I showed you up there that leads directly to the torpedo room. But in case of emergencies, this was an escape. Could be used as an escape hatch too. And what you would do is 2 or 3 guys could get up in there, close this hatch, and then pressurize it in there to the same pressure as the outside water, open the side hatch and step out, and they'd usually tie a rope to the decking up there, and a balloon would go up, and you'd go up the rope and you could escape. And if you're in 100 to 200 feet of water, in theory. Few people did it during the war, but most of the time when submarines were sunk, they were in too deep water. You couldn't really escape anyway.
Oh,
Okay.
this is yours?
Let's go back this way. Hi. Okay. How would you like to go potty in this?
No.
Where do you see this baby? Say it's pretty. It looks pretty complicated, and it is, but you had to learn how to use that because that. When you go to the bathroom in this thing, it goes down into a tank
My.
that you pressurize the tank and then blow it overboard. But you have to know every valve in order to have it set up right when you're first going to use it, and then open seawater valve to flush it down in the tank, and then you got to close the seawater valve, and you got to make this sure that this flapper valve is closed. It's down inside. You can't see the valve itself now. They got a cover on it. But it was an interesting thing to learn the first time you had to use it. Now, here's a wash station.
When I was a young guy,
This sink comes down, but to be honest with you, again, it was rarely used because they didn't like to use water, but you could get enough water to brush your teeth and rinse them here, and occasionally shave if you really wanted to shave, but since the use of water was so tight, not many guys shaved when they were on patrol. They'd shave when they come back.
I mean, you would think you would have a lot of water.
You would, you know, you would when you're on the water. That's a good point. You would think you would have a lot of water, but they just don't.
What we got here? I'm trying to remember.
that was a
Is it-
sonar.
Oh, this is a sonar head?
Array that they
Okay.
roll down or.
Sonar is used to listen in the water. Water transmits sound much better than air, and you can just listen with a sonar head, and you can hear the propellers of targets, like big merchant ships. They kind of go thump, 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 and you can get a direction on the direction that sound is coming from, and then you can set up your attack procedure to go after them. Now, if it's a warship, they usually have high-speed screws because they go a lot faster, and it's real fast like that. But a good sonarman can tell you the difference between a freighter, an oiler, a destroyer, a battleship, an aircraft carrier, just by the sound of its screws. Okay, we're going to start going back now. This is going to be something for me, but the way we used to do it, you always grab on this, and you would swing up with your feet through, and you hang on to this with one hand until you got all the way through, then you could release.
I could
But
probably do that.
I'm going to take it real slow, and you'll probably get through here quicker than me.
Oh, that is tight.
But you want to keep a hold on there. Come on, foot.
Yeah, see what you. That's right, Liam. Hold on.
But it's really tight in here. Oh, that was some pancakes.
Let's move back a little bit so that they.
That was easy.
I'll move back.
Oh, that's
Now.
what I usually do. May I have some pancakes? Or is
So-
that actually fake?
No, that's fake.
Oh.
Move back this way a little bit so everybody else can get in.
So that's all fake food?
Yeah.
No. Which is actually real? No, here's more beds.
Okay.
Those are way easy.
This is the forward battery compartment. And this is where the officers slept, and this is the wardroom, and here's where they ate with the captain. And that little bitty kitchen back there you went by is where their stewards brought the meals in for the officers. But they got the same food from the kitchen back here as the enlisted men got, but they brought it up here and got it ready to serve the officers in here. And there's a shower there on the starboard side that the officers could use. And this side, I think this is what we called the goat locker, where the chief petty officers. Am I right or wrong? Junior officers? Goat locker. Go on, back farther. Okay. Okay.
Double check.
I'll see.
I'm not gonna
You
say
see in the wardroom, they had a little more fancy things for the officers. The serving set. Now, the reason they call this the battery compartment, we're walking over a deck here. Underneath here are, what is it, 126?
126.
126 lead acid batteries, kind of like a car battery, only about this tall. And when the submarine was submerged, it ran on battery power instead of diesel power.
Senior officer. And captain behind you.
Senior officers are in here, like the captain and the executive.
Captain's right there.
Captain's here?
Yeah.
Okay.
They got
Oh, he's got, yeah. Only the captain has his own wash basin.
On the porch in the boat, that is the captain's quarters.
Yeah. But you can see even the officers have pretty tight quarters. See, how would you like to be sleeping on that bottom bunk? That'd be a little tough to get out.
I'd rather be in the middle one, honestly.
Oh, this, yeah.
Oh,
This is actually pretty nice.
Yeah, yours.
But you got how many people in here? Five.
Senior chiefs.
5 senior chiefs. Like Mr. Jordan here, he was a chief petty officer. He wore those chevrons and had a star up there like that.
Let me make sure
This is
give
a,
him about another 3 or 4 minutes because he's not finishing control yet.
okay,
Ship's office.
yeah. This is the ship's office. Yeoman worked in here. Typewriters and did all the paperwork that was necessary for the crew. Kept the records. Yeah, there's got filing cabinets. They got a safe here.
And those 126 cells are 126 buttons right here, and they could actually, it's a probe, they could check them. Stick them in there and see. It's supposed to be 2 volts. And if
They could check the voltage of all 126 batteries under the deck here from here to make sure that it had the proper voltage.
something's wrong, they had to crawl down in.
Yeah. Really, the electricians had a tough job. Not only did those batteries need constant attention where they'd have to put water in them, just like you do a car battery, but these are bigger ones. But they had to check the voltage all the time, and when they crawl around in there, invariably they got some sulfuric acid on their clothes, and then they tended to have jeans that had holes burned through them because of the chemicals.
Let me see what status he's at right now.
Yeah.
See if any of them have it.